Well, today we have Grace. Wait, Grace, before we get started, I want to make sure that I got your last name right. Is it Graber?
Yeah.
It's Graber. Okay.
You got it.
See, our last name is Pretty, and people don't believe that sometimes. It's Priddy. And so growing up, people would always look at our last name and be like, surely it's not pronounced Pretty. And so they would say anything but pretty. They'd say pridely. And so because they were so afraid to say pretty, and I'm like, no, it's actually Pretty. So
yeah,
I always want to make sure we get last names right.
Do you have a sister too, or your wife?
We do, yeah. Yeah, she's the youngest. Yeah. She loves it. Yeah, I have 3 daughters, and they love their last name. So.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Grace Graber is with us. Grace, welcome to the Christian Music Guys podcast. It's so great to have you.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I met you guys over at the K-Love Fan Awards on the red carpet. Did you guys have a blast? That was so much fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah, it was man, it was a blast. It's always kind of a whirlwind though. And I'm trying to remember, it was not hot this year, right?
No.
Okay, but the year before that was hot. Okay, yeah.
It was crowded,
it was nice.
though. I remember we were all trying to find our spots, and like no one could walk past a couple times. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a blast. Yeah, we got to meet Grace there, and so we're excited to have her on the show today. And so, Grace, I just want to give you a chance to introduce yourself to our listeners. Let us know kind of how you got your start in music and what it is that you do.
Well, how much time do you got? Just kidding. So I grew up a pastor's daughter in a small town in California, and I always knew Jesus, and I always felt like, oh man, I don't have a testimony, and I was like 11 and 12 when I thought that. So I had a lot of life ahead of me, and essentially I was physically and verbally bullied in middle school. And it got so bad that my parents had to take me out of that school, put me in a different one, and it spread on MySpace, and it just wasn't safe for me to go anywhere. So I went from all of that to being isolated and became suicidal from that. And right before I was going to take my own life, a song popped into my head, told me I wasn't alone, and ever since then, I've been obsessed with music. It was like an old Hawk Nelson song. It wasn't like their most popular song. It wasn't like their hit. It wasn't from anything recent. It was actually from their first album, and it was track 8. It was one of the album cuts, and I just listened to President. I listened to Letters so many times that it was ingrained in me. And when I needed music most, it just popped into my head, just got stuck in my head. And so yeah, a Hawk Nelson song saved my life is like how I like to say it. And then I met Jesus by going to Christian rock concerts. My parents didn't know how to handle my PTSD, and so the only way they knew how to do that was like to get me places. And so youth groups in Northern California would have these Christian rock concerts come through, and I would meet these bands, and I didn't understand why the people who knew me wanted to like physically hurt me, but I'd meet these like band guys, and they were like so kind. They looked scary sometimes, but they were so kind, and I learned it was because they loved Jesus. And so I saw that, and I said I want to be just like them when I'm older. And flash forward, I started making music about 3 years ago. It was not kind of in my plans. Went to beauty school, and then wrote a jingle for the company, the spa that I worked for, and won a contest with that jingle. And then while I was in Nashville for the contest, I met a producer, and the rest is history. But it's only been 3 years of this, so it's been nuts. It's been a wild ride.
Wow.
So who were some of those shows that you were going to? Who were those bands?
Oh my gosh, do you remember The Wedding?
Yes.
Shout out to Trevor Sarver. He does my merch now, 85 Supply. But yeah, I love The Wedding. Run Kid Run, who guess where So guess who my mentor is now here in Nashville is David Curtis. He leads worship at my church, and
Awesome.
yeah, from the beginning since I moved here, he has been just a champion of what I've been doing. And oh my gosh, what else? Like Flyleaf, Hawknell, all of those classics. What is another one?
Well, if any of them are listening, you just made them feel so old because you just said the classics, the classics.
2015.
Jason, you're
forever
a classic, bro.
No. So what's funny is I released a song with Jason Dunn from Hawk Nelson earlier last year, and so it was funny doing the promo for that because it's like the next generation comes up, and he's like, "What? Am I old now? What?
Yeah, right.
What's going on?
Okay, boomer."
Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, all of that has happened. It's been I am very passionate about doing what they did for me. And one thing, Family Force 5, we can't forget them. Oh my gosh, can we talk about?
They put on a good show. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
crazy.
Oh my
insane.
gosh. I think I'm gonna get some whole cans for some festival dates I have coming up. I want to do it.
I wish they had come back because man, they are just. The last time I saw them was at Rock the Universe in Orlando at Universal, and his brother came out when his brother hasn't been in the band in forever, and he came out and they did all the old school FF5 songs, and it was like
I would die.
It was insane because
who was the guy that
is great.
dance?
What?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that would dance? What do you remember him?
On Family Force
5? He would always just be the guy. He didn't sing or play an instrument.
Jacob used to play the
drums. Oh, Xanadu. You're talking about Xanadu. He would pass them their guitars and he would dance.
He would just dance. He only danced on Family Force 5. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But his brother,
I remember like going to like Ichthus Music Festival back in the day and like just being like, that dude is the best job in the world. He just dances on stage. Like, how fun.
Is his brother Josh the guy that used to be in the band?
Solomon
okay,
Olds.
Yeah.
Well,
he's got that raspy hardcore rock voice, and he went out there and they sang Country Gentleman, and they sang all other songs, and it was like, yes, like Jacob did great without him, but man, they were so much different with his brother.
Mama, give me some of that country fried chicken. You know I love that soul food. No, Soul Glow Activator. He posts that he's in like he lives here in Franklin, where I'm at, and so they post that they're around all the time. I'm just waiting for the moment to run into them. I think that will be a very starstruck moment. I've met a lot of people, but that I'm waiting for that day because I might actually squeal a little bit.
Now you've been, people have compared you to like an Avril Lavigne. How does that make you feel?
Really good.
Have you ever got to meet her?
No, but I wouldn't mind a good hangout. Yeah.
There you go.
I really look, I think, well, if you think about it, I try to think back as far as like back in that realm, there really weren't any female artists like besides Crystal Myers but like no like female artists that were doing the same kind of music as they did. And so when people compare me to the Avril, it's like good. Like we need one, and like that was the music I grew up with. That's my heart and soul, and so it actually makes me excited. And like I think of Avril Lavigne, and I can't really think of any other female like her, and so it gets me excited because then it's like, oh yeah, I get to pave my own way in Christian music particularly. So it makes me excited.
Avril a few years back did release a Christian song. I forgot the name of it because it's not in front of me, but it was a great song and they played it on Christian radio and everything, but that was all she did was one song. Yeah.
No, I've got to look that up.
You have to Google it. Yeah. It was a great song.
Oh my gosh,
but
that's
I can't
nuts.
think of the life of me the name of it.
It was called Not Complicated.
No.
That's what it's called. Not Complicated. She finally found the answer.
Because with Jesus.
She sang about it. Not Complicated, Avril Lavigne.
Jesus made it so not complicated.
No,
yeah.
She did come out with one. I forgot the name of it though, but yeah. Anyway.
I know there were like a lot of ballads she did. I'm working on an album right now, and her Best Days Ever, is it the album? She's wearing like pink polka dots on the album cover. It's one of her first albums ever. And so we've been listening to that record a lot with these new songs, trying to kind of get those old textures, all of that. So yeah.
Okay, Head Above Water. And she talks about how God is keeping her head above the water. Don't let me drown, God. I'll meet you there at the altar as I fall down on my knees. Yeah, it came out sometime. I don't know.
Spirit Break Out. That is amazing. Yeah. I'm not a ballad person. Whoops. My thing just popped off. That was so funny. I'm not a very much of a ballad person. And so if you ever notice, we were just doing some rehearsals today, and all my songs on the set are fast songs, and it's exhausting. But so I don't really pay attention to that. But I'm gonna go listen to that. That's good.
Yeah, it's a good song. Well, speaking of your music and fast songs, you just released a brand new single, Superficiality.
Yes.
Tell us about that song and the story behind it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm excited about this song because it's actually it's technically not my song. I didn't write it. It's the first song that I had a couple of songwriting friends who were reaching out trying to schedule rights, and I at the time was so busy. I work full time on top of doing all this, and I said, look, I don't have time right now, but if you want to write a song and pitch it, like, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. Like, go have fun. They came back literally like 2 days later with Superficiality, and I was kind of like taken back because it was like they were writing with me in mind, and it felt very me. And so those are really good songwriters. Shout out Joelle and Sam and James. Like, they understood the assignment. And so I sat on that song for a little bit, and we were picking songs for the album, and I was trying to find the next song to put out, and it just popped up in my email. I was like, oh yeah, this one exists. And around this time, I've been really burnt out with like social media. Last year had a couple videos do really well, sharing my story, and with that comes great responsibility and like this pressure to like keep it up. So I've been feeling really like overwhelmed with that and overwhelmed with life, and so when I heard this song, it spoke to me of like, I'm so sick of superficiality. And to me, superficiality is like, if we're posting stuff online to prove we're someone, we're lying about ourselves. And I'm guilty of that constantly. And I couldn't understand why I was so fatigued. And it was because I was actually like ill. I was ill from watching people be a thing that I know they're not. Like, no one's ever meant for fame or anything. Like, no one's ever meant for it. And so it's exhausting. And I've met people even in the Christian industry. It's like, man, like it's not that they're fake or anything. It's just like, you just don't know. You just don't know who your heroes are, which none of my heroes are amazing. But like, you just never know. You just never know what you're consuming, if it's real or if it's not. And so, and so as someone who has posted just to post or get her numbers up, or just to prove that I'm a legitimate artist, I can, even though I'm independent, I have the same numbers. I can be a part of the big dogs. Like, having a song like this, I think I'm getting it out of the way, because the rest of this song spiritually is beautiful, and is in my own life, God has been breaking through a lot of things in my mental health and in my world, and he's truly healing me. It's amazing. And so I think this was like that fun moment to get rowdy, and then the rest of the story about to come up is really powerful. But I love it the most because it's not my words, it's somebody else's. And the fact that it's somebody else's words, and like, yeah, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I wasn't the only one who felt this way. Like, yeah.
It's awesome.
I think I mean the song's great. I think I would be nervous if I had to write a song called Superficiality. I'd be like, what do you rhyme with superficiality? Like how do you
Me.
rhyme that one? That's
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I always I like talking with my friends who write songs about big words. Joseph O'Brien, if you ever meet him and talk with him, he songwriting wise, yes, songwriting wise, he always wants to fit those big words in. So when I showed him this one, he was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a big word!" And yeah.
Oh man,
supercalifragilistic. No, we're not.
Yeah, well, stay tuned
that's
because Grace is rapping at the end of the episode. So she's mentally preparing right now to rap. So
Oh, I feel the
she'll
pressure.
have to rhyme some words. Hey, so whenever we're going to have someone on, we reach out to our listeners. We let them know who's coming on to see if we have any listeners that would have questions. And so we have a fan of yours from Florida. Her name is Michelle. And she wants to know about your song, the story behind Conversation, if you'd be willing to share about how that came to be and what it's meant to you.
Oh my gosh, Conversation. So I wrote that one. We want to talk about superficiality and feeling the overwhelm of. I released my first project January 1st, 2021. And I released it. It did well. I got attention. I was talking with label people. I was talking with all my dreams were coming true, and I was so disappointed by it. I was so stressed out. I was depressed. I was coping with alcohol. I was coping in other ways as well. And because I could not get my nervous system to calm down, it was constant adrenaline, constant interview. Oh my gosh, I get to meet this person in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I get to do that. I was, what? Like, just all of that all at once. And this was even before the social media blow up too, so you can imagine how much that affected my mental health. But so I sat down and I finally got help, and I got a counselor. I became sober, and I was on a call with Holly Hollowell, which if you haven't interviewed her yet, gotta have her on. She's an amazing Christian artist, and we were Zooming before we moved to Nashville, and we were in the middle of writing Do It For Me, and I told her about how depressed I was, and how she was like, "You're doing so well, this is amazing," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of miserable. I'm kind of like getting drunk to numb the pain. And I'm kind of like back on medication and about to move to Nashville, and I feel kind of unworthy of the title of Christian music artist. I had like these devotional plans on YouVersion coming out, and I wasn't in the Bible. Like, I wasn't in the Word, like, as honest as possible. And she was like, I would have never guessed that. I would have never guessed you weren't doing well. And I said, yeah, we need to talk about this more, because if this is happening to me on just this little mini scale, what the heck is everyone else going through? And I wrote this song after we got off the write, and I wrote it. I just sat down on my floor, wrote it, and I was terrified. I sent it to my A&R, and I was like, this is never gonna get released. And he said, no, this is actually the base for your next project. We were gonna do a whole project around it. And I think it not only was the base for the next project, it was the base for my career. I finally got that song out of the way. God provided production for it. God provided everything for it. And I moved to Nashville and had support system, and I was prepared. And then I finally got comfortable with sharing my story. I always grew up and it was like, oh, don't tell people you're on medication. Don't share that. That's like too much. And I was done. And that's slowly when my career started doing even more well. I would say I've always been successful from the beginning. Like, it doesn't matter numbers wise. I've I've been pushing through courageously, doing it anyways, you know. So, but it got more successful, and then now I'm here in Nashville, living my absolute dream. About to go on the road here in a couple days, and then yeah, just a lot in the works. Working on an album. It's been nuts, but yeah, Conversation was kind of a cry for help, but I think I wanted it to be a cry for help for like people. So it came from my cry for help, but yeah, it's amazing to see how like far I've come since, like, I think about sitting there and writing that song, and I think about how much in pain I was, and how much freedom I've experienced since then. To being able to go, I'm so sick, I'm super I would have never done that in the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like, what does the writing process typically look like for you? Do you have like a consistent way, like when you're going to write music, oh, I go to this place, I put this song on, I listen, or are you just kind of like, man, sometimes I write a song over here in the bathroom, sometimes it's over there. What does that look like for you?
I tried the traditional Nashville way of doing it, and I do it. I do writes with people, but I was doing it a lot, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. I do it every so often, but it's actually, the more I've talked to my heroes about what their writing process was like, they, like, when Hawk wrote Letters, they all went to a cabin with Trevor McNevin and wrote the whole album, like front to back. There was no setting up rights. There was no hit song, right? Like, there was no this or that. Like, I've had conversations with David, and I've been like, so how did you manage this writing schedule? And he's like, we didn't have that. I'm like, oh, so like, people are expected to have a full writing schedule on top of a touring schedule on top. Like, that's a lot on an artist. So recently, especially with this album, I have one or two friends, that Joseph O'Brien being one of those friends, so you know it's gonna be good. Like one or two people that I have just consistently written with recently, and then my producer Blake. I've only been using him since I moved to Nashville. He's actually, like, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so it's just me and Blake, and then I kind of go around and just write with someone else, or most of the songs on this album are just me in my bedroom. Conversation was just me. The Light was just me. Darkness, you know, like, those are the best songs, you know? Like, yeah, those are the best songs.
Yeah, it's got to be difficult. Like, I'm going to schedule. I mean, I guess for me, the way that my brain is wired, if I have like scheduled, you have to be creative from this time to this time, I feel like my brain would be like, that's not happening, man. Like, well, I'm not going to be creative during this time.
And it's just it's another job. Like, it's a job. It's a job in itself. Like, if you want to be a songwriter, you commit to being a songwriter. You do that. Like, I was like, flirting with possibly getting like a publishing deal, and it was like the amount I was writing versus the amount I was working at the spa. And then I wasn't doing shows at the time, but like, I can't imagine. I've been at rehearsal all day. I couldn't imagine having a song write before rehearsal, like, that's, I mean, artists like are literally athletes. So yeah.
Now, you've mentioned Joseph O'Brien. Little quiz for you. Do you know his father?
Yeah, he was in New Song.
He was, but do you know what he did before New Song?
What did he do? I don't know. I mean, we know I guess we don't sit around and talk about our parents.
Well, that's fine. He was a CCM artist in the 90s.
Yeah, I knew that. Okay.
Well, before New Song. Yeah. Before he joined New Song, he was a solo. He had a solo career and performed everywhere, big tours. And,
a little
like
mini. He was a older Joe, a bigger JoJo.
I think they are identical. When we had him on, I'm like, bro.
Yeah, his dad's younger pictures, creepily looks like Joseph.
Yeah, I knew his dad has always been in music.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the ads? Oh my gosh, he's gonna hate me for this. So maybe think about if you want to cut it out or not. But have you seen the ads from his America's Got Talent audition?
We've seen the clips of him.
Have you seen the titles of those clips?
No.
It's
I
like
had to look that up.
single man, never been kissed.
Oh man, that's tough.
Public domain. So, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Joe. But yeah, no, they're hilarious titles. Yeah, I don't never dated, never kissed. Just
He could also pass for Corey from Boy Meets World. He looks a lot like him.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh my goodness.
Well, Grace, what we like to do with our first time guests, we like to do can kind of get to know you thing, and we call this favorite things. And so we'll just give you a word, and you just give us your favorite thing.
Okay.
This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where it can get divisive.
Interviews can go off the rails quickly.
Yeah,
because there may be disagreements. We'll start with an easy one though. What is your favorite food?
Chinese food.
All right, respectable. And that's not a very common answer, which is surprising.
My dad grew up in Hong Kong.
Okay.
I grew up with Chinese culture ingrained in our family. I actually have I have a lucky cat tattoo. And Chinese writing on my neck. But we have family in Hong Kong. So Chinese food, that's what I grew up eating. That's my comfort. That's my answer.
we usually do. We love Chinese, but especially on Christmas Day when everything is closed, we always go wait 2 hours to get our food.
Have you had dim sum though, like traditional dim sum?
Yeah. Okay. I was about to say this. I was in Hong Kong I don't know 7 or 8 years ago, and that was eye opening when we went out for dim sum one day, and then one time someone else took us out for hot pot, and I was just I might move to China, guys. I just might move here. This is amazing.
Hong Kong.
Yeah, Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's definitely not China.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. I've been to both. I've been to mainland and Hong Kong, and I enjoyed both. But yeah, Hong Kong was really cool. Super cool.
Grace, what is your favorite movie?
Hot Rod.
That's a first.
That's amazing. This is my hat now. Oh, I tell you, I quote that movie so much. Beans. Love it. Yeah, it's a good movie.
We just watched it the other night, so it's fresh on my mind too.
Oh, my friend Cody and I one time. So we talk about that movie so much. We quote it all the time, and once a year we try to get together and watch it. Well, one year we invited my friend Randy, who's a real serious kind of logistical minded guy who's black or white, and we put the movie on. We were watching it, and Cody and I are just rolling, quoting it, and Randy was like, "I don't know if we can be friends anymore. You guys are so weird." And I was like, "Listen, this movie's a part of our life. You have to take it."
Oh my gosh. May the ancestors.
Do you have a favorite show to binge?
Favorite show to binge. What is there a genre?
Anything.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Oh my gosh. I will sit down and watch Star Wars shows.
Okay.
I'm a big Star Wars. Me and my husband are both. We're actually gonna go watch Ahsoka right after this.
My son told me just a couple hours ago, "Dad, we gotta catch up."
Oh my gosh, it's really good.
I haven't seen any of those yet.
The live action Clone Wars.
That's good.
Oh yeah, so I've been. I think I just put it on in the background and do whatever. Yeah, so I'll say that.
Do you have a favorite artist of all time?
Oh, Jason Dunn. You make hard questions. He's always gonna be my favorite.
We may already know the answer to this one, but do you have a dream duet, living or dead?
Well, I've already done a duet with Jason, so dream duet. Oh my gosh, that's hard. I think Family Forest Fire. Let's go back to Solomon Olds.
Oh, very fun.
I wanna do a Soul Glow activator, either a Soul Glow activator remix. Remember when they would do that for other Christian bands? He would do, or like I know he and his wife are in like a band now. That's like hip hop. I think I don't know what hip hop is. Or that, or actually I have something exciting actually. I am doing I'm gonna do a release with somebody in the Christian music realm, and I'm very excited about it because he's one of my favorites.
Okay, give us a hint. No, you don't have to.
Starts with a P, ends with an odd.
Peabod.
Yeah.
We just had him on.
Love Peabod. Yeah, he was just on.
But that's not for a while, so just hold your horses. It's exciting though.
Is it called Sweet as not Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
Sweet as Pepsi.
Sweet as Pepsi.
Oh, gross. Pepsi's nasty.
That song would flop.
Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, Rocky Road, but not with the fake marshmallows. Like not that marshmallow swirl. We're going for the actual whole marshmallows in the Rocky Road.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite podcast?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I listen to Blurry Creatures.
Nate.
Well,
You kind of sound like Nate, Jesse.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it.
I was literally sitting here like, this feels like, it doesn't feel like I'm on Blurry Creatures, but this like he sounds like.
What are your thoughts on
Let's talk
Bigfoot?
About the Nephilim.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I get so excited about that stuff.
So we talked to Meredith Andrews the other day, and
I love her.
She said that's her favorite podcast, and she went to BlurryCon, and she said in the CCM world in Nashville, there's like a whole club of artists that get together.
Yeah.
Todd Smith from Selah.
He's the one. Yeah, Todd Smith is the one that got us into it. Yeah.
Oh no!
So we're halfway through of all the episodes. There's like a bunch of them. So
okay, and so what are your guys' views on Bigfoot?
I mean, he's on our podcast. He exists.
Oh my gosh!
You know, I need to catch up on all the recent episodes to give you my opinion because I wait for them to tell me what I think.
Are you guys members?
I'm not, but I think Chris is. I think our other brother who's not here right now, I think he is.
Oh my gosh! See those episodes, they really do save it.
And I want to know I want to know what their thoughts are on all the recent alien stuff, like
they just did an episode.
I know.
They just did an episode.
I haven't heard the newer one, so.
Oh my gosh.
We're still trying to like catch up in order, and they have like 250 episodes, so we're going. We're getting there.
Oh,
I'm like 100 in right now.
I could talk about aliens all day, but I'm not going to. My husband will kill me.
We're not of this world, okay, Grace? Do you have a favorite Bible verse?
Oh my gosh. Great. My grace is sufficient enough. In your weakness, my grace is sufficient enough. I know that's not the actual one thing about me is I have a terrible memory with a lot of things. But with memorizing TV shows, quotes, I walk out of a movie, friends can quote the movie. I forgot what I even watched. So I've always had a hard time memorizing the Bible, but I remember the major themes. But for me, especially in my weakness, which I view as like anxiety and depression, like seeing how God has used it for such strong things, his grace is sufficient. It's like his favor is enough. Like no other human act could really trump his favor. And so I'm like a firm believer in that. So
yeah. Well, Grace, what's next for you? I know you mentioned that you're getting ready to have some shows. So what's up with you, and how can our listeners keep up with you?
I'm going on a Christmas tour. So California, hey. You can head over to gracegraber.com and check out where I will be. And then we have a drum roll, the Breakthrough Tour. I'm going on the road with my really good friend and neighbor, LVRDR, Laverdier. He's an upcoming artist here in town. That we just clicked immediately, and he started helping me work on my sets, and I was like, why don't you just come on the road and open for me? So all of that is happening. I've got an album coming out next year, but slowly gonna start releasing the songs here soon, and I got added to radio, which is like huge for a Christian artist. Like that's like the top tier. So so a lot of fun things coming to a lot of stations. I think Superficiality, like in the first week, got like 16 ads, which like I don't think that is that big, but apparently for like a small artist, that's big. So so yeah, I don't know what's next. I think a career is next. I think you guys are stuck with me for a long time.
You mentioned a Christmas tour. Do you have any Christmas music that you might be releasing?
Oh yeah, Winter Wonderland. It's coming soon. And we're not doing I just sent it to mixing actually. We're not doing the Winter Wonderland, We're doing the traditional. So get ready. It's gonna be interesting.
Get the eggnog ready. Put the sweater on. Get in all the feels for the music.
Cut up a bunch of paper and throw it in the air because Winter Wonderland is coming.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, to wrap up, we'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God has been doing in your life recently that would help build our listeners' faith.
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question because recently, I think I've seen God in a whole new light. Like I discovered Blurry Creatures and I was listening to it and I was like blown away. And I've been actually in the Word and reading about Jesus and who he was, and I don't know what happened, but just something snapped in me where I guess it's so funny because I didn't feel this way when we were working on Superficiality, but when we released it, my mindset was like I was there like this doesn't like matter like it used to it matters, but like my relationship with God is so much more important than anything else in this world. And when I'm not daily with him, my world comes crumbling down. I've seen God move just recently in people I have conversations with at work. I've seen the Holy Spirit move, and I think it's when I finally took everything captive, said, Lord, take it, don't let it come back. If freedom is what you've called me to, I've wanted to know for a long time, getting ready for this album. I had the title of The Breakthrough before all of this happened, and I was praying, like, Lord, show me what the breakthrough means. What does a breakthrough mean? And he showed me Jesus. He showed me I'm not just a physical being. I'm a spiritual being having this experience. Not to get all Blurry Creatures again, but I think that has built my faith a lot. And then just the sacredness of who God is, and yeah, man, if I could give encouragement to anyone out there, is that you're not alone. The breakthrough is literally right around the corner. It's like at the tip of my tongue even. And I think no matter what, even if I have to spend the rest of my life chasing after it, I know I'm chasing after Jesus, and you know what? There's no better place to be. So yeah, that's I don't know if that makes sense, but that's yeah. I got my baptism tattoo. You guys want to see? I got baptized in ink. Oh, where is it? Anyway, I got Yahweh on my. I was really excited about it, but I just got another tattoo too. They're all on my arm. Anyways, so tatted up.
That's awesome.
Hey, thanks for sharing, Grace, and thanks for being super generous with your time.
Yeah,